Hello, IK here. Welcome to Authentication and Authorization Part 3. Here we are. Handle login. Handle login. Again, you see, we declare object, but it is a reference. That object handle login is a reference. It is name of this arrow function. This arrow function. Arrow function, there is no name, and name of that function is handle login. In arrow handle login, at first in curly brackets, we said E, what is uh, variable of event uh, and prevent default. That event is push button and activate form, and the form there is a default behavior. And we prevent that with this code. We prevent default form. What is default behavior of form? What happened default when we put push button, click on button, submit, button submit in form? What happened? Here it is in ChatGPT. I talk about that, and here it is. Uh, Form is here decoded, for example, on submit form. There is on submit attribute equal some address abc.php. Maybe it is some address, some pages, PHP page, and attribute method equal post or get. This post must be also capital, or get, post or get. It, I talk about post or get. Post, we know post for adding, but it's okay. But post here in form means that data from form, what from data from form will go to will go invisible, but if it is post. But get data will go by address, web address, and would be visible. And it is default behavior. But now we have on submit, we call something on submit, but if we have not method, I ask yes, my constatation, ChatGPT said yes about post and get, and it is default behavior. But what I ask, what is if default behavior of form is only on submit and there is no method? There is no attribute method, shorthand. What would be now default behavior? The default behavior is method get. Look at get. It is data from form will go to through address. And now we know all about prevent default. It means that prevent default form waiting other instructions for behavior, not default. There is no post, there is no get, would not get method transfer data, waiting our instructions. It is like isolation of default behavior of form. Look at how our form is, for where begin. Look at form, open tag here, form on submit. Only attribute here is on submit equal handle login. Handle login is name. It is reference of function, of arrow function. It is a reference, and it is excellent. This object equal function equal object. It is excellent that we can call function. Here it is. We call function handle login without open close parentheses. Before, in my career, I always call function with like this, name of function and open close parentheses. Now, I call function without parentheses. Now, we have here in React, in a lot of places, we call function. We call function like before, like usual, with parentheses, like this. But for example, in concretely this example, if would be parentheses, handle login with parentheses, immediately in initial rendering would be called handle login. And it would be something when handle login is not prepared because initial value need with the classical programming, it is something like declaration of variable, declaration of state. And after that, we can go again in rendering and call function, etc. If we need it, if needed. But when we in initial rendering call a function, and it would be happen because rendering is a process where which would be call this, activate this function in this concretely code situation, because there is a code when it would not be. I can show it when we meet it, and that calling would be error in programming. But here it is. Initial rendering would not call this handle login, would not call this handle login. And after initial rendering, we see on the screen user interface. We see concretely here form, and we in input email type email, in input element we type password, and put on button login, and that event click on button, that event is on click. You see every event in JavaScript start with on submit, and on click can call function, but this on click in this concretely is a type submit. Is type submit. It means that a form call attribute on submit call function, and now with on submit, event on submit equal handle login call function. Here is event call function, but initial rendering is a process when not would be called this handle login. You see how we skip rendering of address of functional handle login. We skip it by reference. It is a reference. We coded it like reference of arrow function. Okay, this is open tag. Here is only on submit without method post and get, and if we didn't use method prevent default, our form would be by method get, it means visible in web address, transmit our email and our password, and both would be visible because password, for example, Ben, being what I used, simplicity here, or any password would be visible like Ben in the email would be visible in a web address because later on the process Ben would be hashed and compare with hashed password. It means until input in a database, Ben is visible like Ben, and anybody who can arrest, access this process before hash can change our password and take our password, use our password. Okay. Here is on sample, on submit. It means here in form, event on submit, we'll call handle login, and it is because button of form is type submit. Is type submit. Okay, type submit, put in button type submit, we would be called, by form, would be called function handle login. It means that all behavior after put button, all behavior is in hand of that function handle login. And handle login is abstraction code, our code, where we take data from form and manage it, govern with that, decided what we want with that data. And we decided we manage the data through this handle login function. Okay, let's get see what that function, what we coded in that function, uh, what happened with data, what that function does with the data. Okay, here is start asynchron event. It is asynchron event handle login because that function would be dispatch data to tank function, and tank function would be send request to backend. It is Express application, and backend would be communicate with the protocol of MySQL with the database of MySQL. A result of that would go back. Here is our flag. Let's see how analyze our function here. Set is loading. It is function set is loading. State is loading is our state of this local state in this component. And here is set loading true. It is flags. Somebody put flags, what means something forbidden. We take flags forbidden. True means that is loading starting. Starting loading. Loading process loading is send the data to database and received response from that database backend tank. give response. That process is loading. Here we call loading. Dispatch login user. Here is it is, and here we declare a response. Here we need what data from response. Here in login we need in some other situation, for example, department add departments, for example, add department. Add department says add department JS. On save department click. We dispatch. Here is a dispatch. We dispatch a new department to table. It is a name description, but only await keyword, and we await asynchron. Here is asynchron await, always in pair. It means that we can coding without a lot of callback 10, 10, etc. But coding like always, we coding statement by statement without calling that callback function. And dispatch add new department, and like in login, here we send the name and description to tank function. All the time we are in front end. This login and tank function reducer, it is part of front end. Redux is front end. We send it to tank, and tank will send it to database, to Express backend, and backend will send to database. But here is okay, this unwrap name unwrap talking about this method, this function. This function would unwrap, and that unwrap here function coming with the last version of Redux. It is a Redux toolkit. Redux toolkit coming with unwrap, and that unwrap open promise. And if it is wrong, if it is error in that unwrap, we will see we will see it is in console. Okay, if we coded here error, we will see that error in this component. Without it, we will not see that error. How we see error in front of user's eye, it is one kind, unwrap, and we see error. But there is also a rejected type of action. And in that moment, that rejected take care what we see like error. And we can see two times. Unwrap, we can see error in this component, and reject, we can see in some other component. For example, we have add form for adding data, and below of that form we see a list of data, list of article, etc. And on the list of the article, we will see error, what send as reject, what is after reject type of action in tank. And unwrap we see in add article, add departments component. It means that we have add department, and below of that we see a list of departments. In list of the departments, we will see error, what is because of a reject, some problem in asynchronous communication. And also because of that problem, thanks to unwrap, we will see error. It is same error here. But if we have only, okay, it's okay. It is unwrap is about Redux, is about Redux. But here, try and catch, it is try catch, it is construction that we take error what happened here in form, in this between try and set description, in this period between try and catch. If happens some error, we will see that error in console. We will see that error on the user interface, depending about this code, what we code it here. Try catch. Try catch. Why we use it? Because if we don't use it, and if we don't have this method unwrap, and we have not method rejected type of action reject, and we can have uncode. We call that uncode error when user see black screen with a lot of signs and characters on that, and can be very important data visible about application visible on the screen, but it is not, we don't want that user see black screen with some lot of character in that screen, because for user it will not be, would not be visible any error, but would be visible broken application, broken and confused user. And we don't like that user see it. And try catch is construction, and finally try catch finally is construction to take error, to catch error if error happened on that on that period between try catch. And we can try catch use in any part of the code where we suspicious for possible error, or that data is very sensible. We can, but any here is a sensibility of data is because go process of asynchron, and we await here, we await that that process would be finished. If not finished, there is now nothing below this. Inform stay our input, because there is some error, and that error would be visible in user interface. Also, because it is error in dispatch process, it would be visible in reject because of reject action, rejected action. It is department, it is there is no response, constant response. We didn't declare in front of this, didn't declare variable response. Also article, look at now article departments, article, add form, add article form. You look at await dispatch. Here is a tank, and tank there is a parameter, a new article, also unwrap, but not constant response. But why now we have a constant response in login? A login, not in feature, but in component. Login. Here it is. Why in front of await we have a response? Of course, asynchronous is here, await is here, but why response? Because we need that response. We need here in login response. And in that response will be thank. And I spoke about token, will be token. And we decoded that token here, decoded in department and articles, etc. We don't need a token. We don't need. We send a new input, new data go in database, and okay, it is finished. Backend coming okay. There is no error, and it is all for us. We finished that process. But here it is not finished. We take what coming in response. And here in this situation, it is not only okay, but it is a token. Where we created token, we will see later. And now, in that response, we have a token. And we declare object decoded token, and we decoded that token JSON function parse atop decoded that token. Here is look at response. Now, in that response, there is a token, and all that response is object. Token is object in that property. It is properties of response, and the split function create array of token, and here it is can be 0, can be 1. It means why here it is 1. I must go with the wide description. Talk about concretely in detail what split and what is this dot. Here would be created 3 parts, would be created string of character with 3 string of character differentiated by this dot. Okay, I will show it concretely, but now I stop here and prepare for that presentation, explanation. And of course, decoded token means decoded token. Look at now. What is in token? What is this role? Okay, stop now, and let's get a prepared explanation of this. Because in token is user complete object user take from database our email and the password, find user and take complete data of that user. It means name of user, role of user. And here we see that role. We have that role. We coming to that role. And how from token we take user, and from decoded token we have a role of user. I now prepare detailed explanation. Here is a declaration of object equal JSON parse tab response token split etc. And okay, let's get down explanation. JavaScript web token structure. JavaScript web token consists of three parts separated by dots. Header contains metadata about the token, such as type of token and the signing algorithm. Payload part contains the actual data or claims, such as user information or expiration time. Signature used to verify the authenticity of the token. Three parts: header, payload, and signature. Here is, for example, look at now, it is header, dot, it is a user, and third is a signature. Here it is. In this JavaScript web token, header, look at header is this, payload this, and signature is this. Extracting the payload, we need the payload. We need the payload and response dot token, response dot token split the dot and this one. Response token. Response token, it is a JavaScript web token string provided in response object. Method split splits the JavaScript token into the three parts: header, payload, and signature. This creates an array-like, look at, array, header, payload, signature. It is function split created it. Number one, extract the payload, because in every array, members, there is an index 0, 1, 2, etc. Here is 1, it is payload. Extract the payload, the second element of the array. Base 64 decoding, here it is at top. At top is a JavaScript function that decoded a base 64 encoded string. Here is a top. A top will decoded, here is one, decoded payload. With decoded payload. The payload in JavaScript web token is base 64 encoded. So this step decodes the payload into readable JSON string. JSON string. For example, the payload, look at this coded payload, is base 64 decoded into this one. User ID, for example, name, etc. It means decoded in object, curly brackets means object. Inside that object there is properties. Object always have properties. Or method, here is a properties column, name of properties in quote, columns, and value of properties. And here it is pair name value. Name, properties, and value, Joe both. It is a string and quote also. parsing JSON, JSON parse, ATOB decoding of all this. JSON parse converts the decoded JSON string into JavaScript object. Converts. For example, this will be converted in this. Converts would be parsed into something like this. Difference is only that there is no quote around user ID and around name. Quote is only about string value. Assigning the decoded object, assigning here decoded token is decoding the token is assigned to this complete what we analyze, and it means that decoded token is this. For example, in our case, it is something other. Decoded code token assign right side of equation is assign value. This is right side is value what we assign to left side. To left side is declaration, constant decoded token is declaration of object decoded token, and the right side is value what we assign to decoded token value. Always left is a declaration, but value right side also means initialization, and declaration, and initialization. That means value. Declaration and initialization, because we can only declare variable state object, and after in programming assign value. Here it is created value, assign value, initialization also happen here. And the decoded payload, it is payload that our data about user is now stored in the decoded token variable as JavaScript object. For example, if response token is this, the output in the coded token will be this. And in our case, we have a name and we have a role. In our case, there is a role. And it means that the coded token is a name, ban, bin, etc. from database, and role. Role is admin or customer. Admit some of that role. And here is a role also. And this decoding process does not verify the token's signature. It simply extracts the payload. To ensure the token is trustworthy, you need to verify its signature using library like JSON Web Token. Okay, about verification. Okay, we understand. Here in login JS, we only take role. For us interesting role here in login, because login component need navigate, send to address, depend about role. If role of user is admin would be sent to dashboard page. If its role is customer, would be sent to customer page, customer address. Okay, it is here. You see me like teacher. You see how useful is ChatGPT for me, because uh, I I'm not a developer who every day type and type, invent and invent, programs, and know all that process. For me, it is some process. It is some process like administration. It is like that, and it is practically. It is nothing for explain. It is nothing for explain. It is administration. How we administrate all process of logging, of security, it is administration, like it is in a real world. There is a law, there is a administration, there is about all processes. And okay, there is a science about law, uh, and people who go to faculty about that, and it's a complicated, very very complicated process of law, and also here, and this is what I use momentarily. It is the simplest possible uh, login, security. It is we decoded, we take a value, and we don't verify the signature of this token. We take we interested in role, uh, even no in name. Other component is interested in a name, but now we interested only in role, and that role we have here. We declare state role, variable role, and assign the coded object dot role, properties role. And this we have role. Now, when we have role, we have in logic, if role equal admin, navigate to dashboard, else if role equal customer, navigate customer, else navigate customer. Else if role customer, navigate customer, else navigate customer. If role is unknown, send to customer. Oh, excellent. Okay. And the catch we also use here, try catch construction. If any error happen here between try catch, screen would not be black, screen would be with stopped application and text of error, and not confused user. Okay, we say all in this part up. Now, this component, there is a return part. Return part, parent is open, close down. In that return, it is JS6, JS6 language. Can be in all component JS6, but this moment, when you look at here up, there is no HTML, and it is clear JavaScript. But here in return, you see we have HTML element, and also here it is error, etc. and handle login on submit. There is a mix of HTML and JavaScript. And result of JSX, that mix would be a web page, what we call component, because a page, if web page is all what we see on the screen, user interface, that page is created by component, one or more component. This is a login, it is one component, and would be visible in app.js in div where it is outlet instead of React element outlet when we click in a link, uh, hyperlink named link. Okay, in return, we have some style, you see, it is CSS. And here it is form. Form on submit, we spoke about it. Input, we have two input here. Type email, all HTML element, there is a attribute. React element, there is a properties, short props. Here is input, it is HTML element, attribute, type, email, placeholder, email, value, email, in curly brackets, email, it is variable email, it is our state declared up. Email and password, it is to state what we declared. There is email, set email, password, set password, and password here. And okay, when we look at the input, when we type on input, happen on change. Every type of every type on keyboard and our push key, it is even on change. It means push key, it is on change. Even again, you see on change. JavaScript is case sensitive. You take care. JavaScript must be every code, every keyword of JavaScript must be right like you see on change. What is small case, what is capital letters. Okay, it is required means that must be like that, must be entering, must be something in that input. If is not, we cannot send we cannot click on the button. But on change event on change is push on key in keyboard. That event call right side. Look at now, event call. Event on change equal right side. It is also on change assign, right side is assign, but on on change call, event, every event call some function. Here call arrow function. Here is the arrow function. And look at now, set email, it means set email, it means it would be changed. It would be changed email. We type in empty at first initial state is empty. Empty because here it is user state, empty. And the initial state of password would be empty input and password empty is empty. It is in initial state. But when we type initial state finished, we look at form and we type. And we type email. Every touch of key is event on change. Every touch of key call a set email, and a set email value, you see, that value uh, give to give to typing. It is every letters, every sign, one by one, go in input. And when we get out from input, uh, that process of typing email is finished, and we have email finished typing visible in first input. It means set email changes every sign, every characters uh, what we touch key in keyboard would be would be ordered in final email. Set email. It is function what changes empty input changes by our letters what we and sign what we type changes. But I said that every changes set email. It is part of use state. Will activate re-rendering of component, but here, but there is a batch of changes, a batch of changes. React created batch of changes, and the takeoff when we finished complete our typing email and typing password with one re-rendering would be only one re-rendering of that complete batch. And it is even though we see that letters by letters in the input, it don't that we see on the screen. It not means that happen rendering every time. But it is only we can see that it is only rendered that input because we see that in that input on the screen. Set email. Look at something is also interesting. I said that address that function with parentheses. Here it is parentheses. Would be called immediately in initial rendering. But I also said that not always. Here it is when not. Why not would be called in initial? Because it is in body of arrow function. It is not on change directly equal this. If on change would be directly equal this, it would be rendered in initial rendering and would be error because initial rendering there is no on change and there is nothing in input, no value because no typing, and it would be error. But because that function with parentheses, it is call, it is syntax for call function. It is not reference of function. It is calling function, but only that can call only can call arrow function. And because arrow function is directly assigned to onChange, arrow function would go through initial rendering uh, would be referenced. It means in first initial rendering that arrow function would be put in memory like a function, like and get some reference what created directly because it is anonymous would be created some reference automatically from that place in memory and exist reference and in when initial finished and we see input form on the screen and that input we can and when we type first letter it would be calling a reference exists in memory. It would be calling arrow function. Calling means activate reference in memory of that arrow function, and that arrow function would call like calling of a function. And when we call arrow function, would be executed means call this set email function with parameter target value would be called. And you see how we, thanks to arrow function, we skip execution of a set email because at first must be put in memory arrow function. There is a no name and system would create some reference, and now that function is ready for calling. But it is like declaration of function. We must declare function, and after that use it, declare variable, and after that use it. And initial is declaration of variable and declaration of function. This arrow function must be declared, and it means that would be find would be put in memory, would be put reference in memory, reference point in other place where it is this arrow function. And that arrow function, we can set accept name in memory and position of that arrow function ready for calling. And in second, and after that, it is calling. And set email, there is a parameter here, would be called event. What is event? Event is on change. Concretely here, it is on change. Target, event, there is a target. Properties. What is target property? It is input. It is target. It is element where happened it. That event happened. It happened here in input. And value. Value is letters what we type. And value by value, letters by letters, typing by typing, we finished our email and go to other input for password. All the same. Here is disabled. There is properties. There is attribute disable equal is loading. It is our flag. When you said that something equal is loading in curly brackets. Curly brackets is a limit between JavaScript and HTML. Disabled all attributes is part of HTML element. And when we incorporate JavaScript with HTML, you look at it is curly brackets, isolate JavaScript from HTML element, and together it is JS6, JavaScript extension, I like to say. What disable input while loading. Yes, okay. Disable input. It means it is one, it is exist, yes. And when we see that is loading, it means exist, it exists. If it can exist or not exist. Of course, in initial rendering, it is false, for example. In initial rendering, it would be false because here it is loading, is user stated false, is false. Disable is loading is false, is false. But when we put in button, when we finished entering email and password and put in button submit, login, it is true. It would be one and not possible click, not possible click on button again. During is loading is one. After process finished, loading is again false. Here it is the same, and I will not repeat here. Also here is for input. Every input there is a disable, is loading, and it means that after push button login, no, cannot, we cannot input nothing, we cannot type in input email, input password. And also we cannot, also you see button, we cannot type disable, button also disable. During is loading is one, is true. Is loading, if is loading exists, it is ternary operator with question mark. It is if-else structure here in this declarative, not imperative, but in declarative, it is ternary. Ternary because there is a three part. One part, after question mark, second part, and after columns, third part. If is loading one, we will see logging in and three dot. It means process is in we have process of loading, and if loading is loading false or zero after column, we will see logging text without three dot, without login, finished. It is like we will see on the page login, show login, show login. It is very, very fast, and there is and we don't see login in, but we only see login. Can I go now in here? When I switch on computer, I see that there is a token here from yesterday, and but logging, I must again logging. It means that token is not a reason that token cannot save our logging. If we are logged and turn off computer, when we switch on computer, login disappear. We must again log in. And again login, when I now, even token is here, it is old token. Now when login process would coming old, the new token will change existing token in local storage. You see local storage. Okay, login. Login. bean, monkey bean com, password bean, logging. Look at now, please log in would be welcome. Login, now login. Token here is changed. Welcome to dashboard. It is login. This is admin. Mr. Bean is here. It is Mr. Bean. Your login. Your login. Okay, we didn't see your lodged in. We didn't see. We didn't see that lodging with 3 dots. It is very, very fast. But it is because it is all in my computer here, local. On my table is server MySQL and front end React Redux and backend Express. It is all on my computers here and very, very fast. Here I don't see login because I would see login when I have a login component. But this moment, login component is always okay. It's changed with welcome to dashboard. It is here. It is dashboard.js. Here it is. Welcome to dashboard. You're logged in. It would be called. It is opened because you see. You see address here is dashboard. And when address is dashboard here, we can look in index what would be called, what would be root for that dashboard in address index.js dashboard call dashboard here. And on that dashboard, we see welcome message. Also, contrary would be customer if role would be customer. But if role is not dashboard, not customer, would be open customer. It is in navigation. But it is written that we don't see login. Login. Here it is. Here it is. Login. Don't see this word login. Okay, what happened if I write login? You see, login. Now, when address is login, we didn't log out. Here it is login. This is on the component login. Here it is login when address is login. Interesting. Do you remember? I asked you what happened when I customer. Our user is admin. There is no access. There is no permission for customer. And when I enter customer, unauthorized. Who give it possibility? It give it private root. Private root. About that in some of next video. And but that private component, private root, is here in private root in index.js. You see private root with that properties, require role admin, require role customer. It is it. And now if we have pages, so many that only customer can go to that, we will give this private root around that component, like here around customer. And customer can only role customer. In dashboard can only admin in dashboard, but admin cannot in customer and customer cannot in dashboard. It is private. It is private root. Private root. Okay, we see what login said. Login must, from token, decode role. Decode role. There is one thing interesting. We see that, and it is something short. We see here, welcome, Mr. Bean. How, which it is, what component, no name and take name. It is component welcome message. It is component welcome message. Welcome message, component, W, welcome message is on the bottom. Yeah, here is welcome message. There is a user. Look at use selector. Why login is not used by use selector? Take state login from Redux, because exist in Redux, and because would lose continuity if must have more code, declare user, etc. And that user is not immediately existing in Redux, because you see in tank function is reducer, we have a verification process and also decoding response, decoding, verification, and after that we have fulfilled in Redux. It is not immediately like it would be without token. Coming user go to response user and go to Redux store reducer. Not here, must be decoded, must be verified, and after that put in Redux. But look at now, because it is asynchron, and during asynchron, our JavaScript single thread don't stop. And that process, when Redux decoded, we will see that, decoded, verified, but response go to login, and response arrive in login before, from tank, before then decoded, verify, and that changes exist in Redux store. It means when user response coming, we must say, okay, waiting that we sure that new state about user in Redux exists, and after that you will. Because login, there is a response and there need user role, but a welcome message, there is only username, and there is nothing about response. There is nothing code about waiting. Username equal state, login name, and when it would be, it's okay. User is only one functionality, but login and all is about one functionality, one task, one consider. It is login, but login there is a lot of a lot of job about. There is some parallel job because of asynchron work, and tank if in the login slice. Okay, but let's get see login slice. Login slice. Login slice. Login slice. You get validation token. Here it is response. In response coming token. User detail in token. And after that, we declare is valid token. A token equal, if not token, return false. Okay. And now decoded JSON part, same what we have there. Expiration, look at expiration decode because it is verification complete. Because if expiration decoding, expiration date, extract user from token. Look at extract the code JSON and return name, decoded name. Decoded name. Email, decoded email, and role, decoded role. We see now name, email, decode, what's coming here, and response. Here it is response, and that response response data, it go to decoded expiration false extract. Yes, this is what will be used, all that function about decoding, validation, etc., is used by this extract user from token. And it happened down in fulfilled, extra user at fulfilled. Look at, we use extra user token. And the response activate response is token in response. And that response coming here. And here we use extra user from token. And we have payload. We have payload. And what is payload? Name, email, and name, email, and role. And that go to store, to login. To login, and that moment, welcome message by user selector, see that changes, see name Ben. Uh, Here we call extract user from token. Uh, and extract user from token. But okay, it would be go in next video because what I look at. Okay, okay, okay. This process here it is next video, not now about that because you see there is a lot of that because we call this, but okay, who call this is valid token? Who call this? It is valid token is part of is a part. It is inside. We must look at in curly brackets. This is in curly brackets. And all process, now you see that curly brackets. And I go to see, here it is curly brackets, and I go to see closed curly brackets. Closed. Here it is. Here it is. And it means that is a valid token is out of that curly brackets. Also curly brackets, and this is also finished. It is asynchronous, but this now I click here. This is here. This okay. Okay, here finished all about create asynchron tank. About create asynchron tank. After that, we have declaration of is valid. Is valid. It is separate. Okay, now I look at, here it is valid. Here is called. I look at where it is called. Where it is called, and now I see calling of is valid token. Here is a called. Is a valid token is one side of AND operator, logic operator, and both side, if both side, if a token persistent and is a valid token, persisted token, then would be all here would be extracted user. And here is a called is valid token. I find it, I search for it. It is calling, it is part of local logic conditions, must be both side one, that we have, that happen this extract user from token. Authentication true, initial state token, persistent token, and it is in initial state user equal user. Look at name login initial state yeah, okay, here is created initial state created here. It starts like it is login slice. It starts like initial. Look at initial state is here, but initial state of this, here it is, initial state is empty. Constant initial state. Yeah, here it is. User token error. It is initial state, and when coming response from backend, that response we must validate, we must take payload from it, etc. That process. Okay, put this page in the next video. Oh, thank you for watching this video.